Hey peeps, I am Gladianne from Heart Take the Wheel, a brand and business photographer, and today you are watching another episode of 3 for Thursday, where I will share 3 things about something on Thursday. Alright guys, so in today's episode, we are going to dive into the 3 ways to effectively communicate your visual strategy of your branding photos. So I really think this is super important. This is why I talk on this topic a lot, because the more you and your photographer or whoever you're working with can get on the same page, the better the results will be, and the easier that the work will flow, and this is what we want on both sides. I will be guiding you through the 3 parts of this communication strategy so that you and your photographer can get on that same page. And this is super important because everyone brings their own perspectives and biases and experiences to the table, right? So if you are just communicating I want this or that, you're just communicating very plainly. I'll give you some examples here in a minute. Then you might not both be on the same page because everyone is thinking of their own whatever that means to them, right? So here is a little game, okay? So think of the word, if I'm talking about a dog, let's say we're talking about you want a dog in the photo, this and that, something to do with dogs, we're just talking about dogs. So when I bring up, I want a photo of a dog, if I want a dog in the photo, what do you think of? Talk to me in the comments. Tell me, are you thinking of a very specific dog? Maybe it's your dog. What does this dog look like? Does the dog have a name? Are you thinking of the dog, what breed is this dog? Okay, so tell me about what you think of as soon as I say the word dog, and I want a photo of a dog. What does that look like to you before I even go further? So go ahead and drop me a comment. Because here's what's funny. Typically we are bringing our personal biases, our personal experiences, and our own perspectives of everything to the table, right? So when I say the word dog, some people's first thought might be Scooby-Doo. What? And other people could be thinking of their own dog, or maybe they're thinking of a cherished dog from childhood, or just maybe a dog that they really want and they don't have or never have had, or something like that, right? So, for example, as soon as you say the word dog, I think of a blue heeler, I think of an Australian Shepherd after that, and then I'm thinking of a Doberman, and because I'm bringing my personal biases to the table, right? I'm bringing my own perspectives, wants, needs, desires, experiences, memories to the table. So that's why we can't just stay on one level of communication, because we need to bring in as much as possible from both sides to the table so that we can find out where everything overlaps and where we are on the same page. So I'm super intrigued to see what you guys bring into the comments about the whole dog experiment. Of course, I have to bring my psychology background to this video today, but that's where we're at. That's a little background into why it's so important to get together and really effectively communicate the visual strategy of your shoot, okay? So without any more games and experiments, let's dive into today's topic, and we are going to jump right in with number 1. Of course, let's start off with that first initial chat. Let's get together. Whether you are local and we can meet up at a coffee shop, or you can meet up with your photographer at a coffee shop or something, or at their studio, because that's also a great place to meet, because you can get an idea of what's possible and where they're working at and all this stuff. Maybe you can just meet on Zoom if you're talking about remote work, or on a traditional phone call. So who does this anymore? So I definitely want to start off with that phone call, with that chat, with that Zoom chat, whatever it may be, because then we could start with at least getting to that point where we're talking about that dog, right? So at this point, you're probably telling me, let's go with an example, a very typical and common example that I work with is boho, right? That boho vibe everybody wants, right? This boho vibe into their photos, especially because where I live is naturally a boho environment because we live in the desert. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I want like some boho vibe photos. I want that sunshine and cactus and I want, you know, like silly photos. So like this is where we start that communication, and I start talking to you about who you are and what you do and all that stuff. And so this is that beginning part. And of course, the second and the third part of today's 3 for Thursday feed into this initial conversation, ideally, but sometimes we have to just build onto it. So, all right, so this initial chat is where we just get talking and we start coming together and we're just putting everything on the table at this point, and we are starting to connect the dots and getting onto the same page. We're just starting here. So give me all of your, wants, needs, desires, what you've seen done, what you like, what you want, the vibes, the words. We do want to start with those words. They are still important. So the words are still important. Please tell me that you want whatever those are to you. And then from there, we're going to move on to number 2 so that I can understand what those words actually mean to you visually. So number 2 is those visuals. We need to share some visuals. Give me a Pinterest board. I can create a secret one for us both. Give me Instagram photos. Because sometimes when you say boho, I could be thinking of something like this in the desert with Joshua trees and like boots and like hats and stuff. And you could be thinking of sunglasses on a truck with like lots of arm jewelry and rings and stuff. And so like I really need to understand your interpretation of what boho means to you, or whatever the vibe words. We're just going with this example. So I need to see some visuals. Give me an idea so then I can understand, like, hey, these are all the possible ideas of what boho could mean. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I need to know what your interpretation, what your, visuals, what you're thinking of. I need to see that. So show me some examples of what that might look like. And often you're not going to find the perfect photo, because that's the thing. You're coming to me because you don't have that, right? So you will find photos, and what's great about Pinterest is you can leave comments and stuff on things. So you can pin a photo to our secret board and be like, I love this part of this, but maybe not this. That's not what I'm going for. Or the truck in this is perfect. Or I love the idea of these sunglasses and the hat, but I don't like this other thing, or whatever. So like and then that'll help me get super clear on what it is you like and don't like, and that visual strategy will start to come together. And oftentimes when we're doing really quick shoots, mini shoots, this is as far as we go. But when we're doing more in-depth shoots or my higher-end shoots, I want that third step. And that third step is the purpose. So the mini shoots can also include this, and often do, but sometimes, when you're just run and gun shooting, because I do a lot of shoots where it's like very finite one purpose, and so that's perfect. So the purpose still fits into this, but oftentimes it's just like they just want content in general, and they don't know what they're using it for. They just want as much as possible, and then they'll figure that out, and then maybe later on they'll be like, okay, now I know I need things for this, or I need a photo for that. And so we build into that, we grow into that. So everything kind of comes in its own way for everyone's individual situation. But the third part of this visual strategy and how to communicate that is the purpose, defining the purpose of the photos. So for example, let's say you book me for the big shoot, you're gonna get 60 beautiful images, and you are like, hey, I have all these great images. Now I would like to make one of them my big hero image of my website, right? Like a real big, when they land on it, they see this big image, and then like they see my tagline or my title or something in the center of the web page, and then they're gonna scroll down and they're gonna see, I'm gonna use some more photos for maybe like by buttons of like the different categories or different things they can do, like go to the shop, go to the blog, or my FAQs or whatever, and I'm going to use images for like that too from the shoot. And that's what you are wanting to do, but you don't tell me that. So if I never ask and you don't tell me, which trust me, I'm going to ask, but if that never happens, then I don't know that you want photos for that specific purpose. So say, for example, your banner image. That's a big deal. Oftentimes you can get away with some of the other stuff, me not knowing, because a lot of times the photos will still work, but some purposeful, things need to be mentioned, because that banner image, that hero image, that means that the center area of the photo should be very neutral, shouldn't have a high focus point, shouldn't have faces. And if that's not made clear to me, then we might take these photos and a lot of the focus might be center area. We might not know that. And so whenever you start plugging these photos into your hero, banner area or whatever, you are going to have some issues with that, especially with text. So it's super important to just define the purpose of the photos, and then adding the purpose of the photos to the visual strategy we talked about and showed each other. All that comes together and makes a beautiful shot list. And then I know, okay, you need these button images, and your buttons are actually circular, so I have to make sure that that mid-circle area of the image definitely has all the content in there that represents your FAQ, whatever that's going to look like for you. We'll talk about that. Or your blog, we're going to talk about what that image might look like, and we're going to talk about what your shop image would look like. Maybe it's a photo of some of your products that you brought with you to the shoot, just to have a few things shot with you. And we could talk about what that branding photo session looks like, because it's not just photos of you. It can be, but oftentimes it's a mix. It's like headshots and lifestyle shots and maybe some stock and product. It's whatever we need to make it to make you feel like you've got your images for your branding shoot. So defining that purpose is super important. So take all these three things, I'll sum that up here. First, you have that initial conversation, that chat, that getting to know each other, but also like lay it down. What do you want? What do you see? What do you like? Talk to me, give me all the words, right? And we're gonna start putting everything, we're just throwing everything on the table. From there, we're gonna move to the visuals, and you're gonna share visuals with me on Pinterest, on Instagram, whatever it may be. We're gonna come together and create that visuals, add that to what you said to me and to what your branding is, and then we're gonna add in that purpose, and then I can clearly understand how to create beautiful branding photos for you that will fit your needs. So that is my 3 for Thursday video for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!